Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Yes, this is the episode of December. Hopefully, all is well. Thanks to everyone for listening to my last podcast, of course, with my good friend Declan Flanagan. With this podcast, with someone else, but before we get into that person, if you want to follow me on my YouTube, please subscribe to my YouTube. You get this podcast on YouTube. You can get it on Podbean. You can also get it on Spotify as well. And of course, you can get it on my Facebook page at Aeraholic. So, as the story goes now, right? Before I go any further as well, we do have a new sponsor to the podcast, but that'll be coming out in January's episode. So, I suppose the person I have with me now tonight is no other than my younger brother, Darren Harrington Official. Darren, what is the crack?
Hello everybody, how are y'all?
Right, so Darren, you don't realise this, right? But you have a massive following all over the internet, right? Everybody up in the west of Ireland is always saying to me, could you get your brother on the podcast? We love his TikTok, what to do with the timber and all that kind of stuff. So you might as well tell people now, who is Darren Harrington Official?
Well, I am just a normal just up. I live down here in Khmer. I am married to a wonderful woman called Kira, and we have 2 kids, and we farm cows and sheep, and I work with a company called Mango Crafts, which we do bespoke furniture, and I deliver all around the country of Ireland, including the north, for Mango Crafts. And in my spare time, I do a bit of timber work and bits and other bobs, but mostly I'm part-time farmer and whatever it's want to know, whatever you want to talk about.
Right, so we'll go into one of the big things that you put up in your TikTok is chainsaws, right? So there's a lot of brands of chainsaws. What's your favourite brand?
Well, for me, it has to be Still.
Right.
Still, for me, I've had a Husqvarna before, and it was a good saw, but I got this Still MS390 5 years ago for my 30th birthday, and I can't fault it. It's a mighty powerful saw. It does what it needs to do to cut any timber down. I am in the process now of buying a new Still chainsaw. That will be coming probably summer of 2025, but that is in the works at the moment, a new Still chainsaw.
Okay. Now, where has the timber side of things, we'll say, the cutting the timber, where's that come from, like?
I suppose I love working with timber. It's really the only thing. And I suppose when I started TikTok, I didn't know where I was going to go, really. And, I suppose I bought the saw. TikTok was slow to start off, but I suppose it took off once I hit the 1,000 followers. It kind of blew up from there, and people seem to like the chainsaw content. We have a forestry near us here that I go cutting in. We've timber at home that I cut in. I've cut for other people. It's a pastime. I love to work with timber. I love to cut timber. Hence why I cut trees and I work with Mango Crafts.
Right. Next thing I'm going to go into now is, you know what this is going to be, the stolen chainsaw.
Oh, the stolen chainsaw, that was never stolen. But
yes,
I suppose that also made me famous for all the wrong reasons. I purchased the small Echo chainsaw from a company that we get our tools from in Mango. I paid for it with cash. I posted the video, and one fella, it's still up there somewhere on my TikTok. It's probably a while back, but he comments that I stole it, and it blew up from there. And I suppose it was constant. Nearly every day, I stole it. But in the words of the God's honest truth, it was never stolen. I've never stolen in my life. I don't intend to start.
Now, since you got that little chainsaw, right, and since you got the old busy and the old TikTok, have you actually got side work for yourself from TikTok with that chainsaw?
Not really. Like, I've come home here. It's the small saw now. It's great for trimming hedges, branching trees, cutting down small trees. It's not just a small chainsaw. It's like it'll do as a hedge cutter, anything small light work related. It's a gift. So I can cut a hedge. I can do whatever I need to do with a small chainsaw. But obviously the still will always come out in everything that I do because it's just an absolute beast of a chainsaw.
Right. The farm. So what do you farm? I know you have the cows and the sheep, but tell everyone now what your day-to-day work is on the farm.
Well, I suppose now we're in winter. So like any normal Irish farmer, the cows are in. So they're in, obviously. And we will be calving from January through to May, I think, if I'm correct. And we have obviously the sheep. So we have two sets of sheep sponged this year. So the first lot will be coming in next couple of days. They'll be lambing late January, early February. And the second lot will be coming in kind of late, probably late January, early February, depending on what way it works, because they're lambing the third week of February and the first lot lambing the first week of February, roughly with the dates we have.
Jeez, is that not a bit early now, no?
It's early in some senses. I suppose, most farmers would be around Paddy's Day and some would be April and some could even be November, December, depending if we're going for the Easter markets or whatever. But we built a sheep shed there a few years ago, three bay sheep units, so that's how we can lamb them earlier because we can have them inside from the cold or wet or whatever weather we get in the winters in Ireland.
So the sheep bay, you reckon, is a good thing?
Well, it's a gift for us. I suppose not everyone can afford a sheep shed. We have the three bay slatted cow unit and a bull house added on, and then we have the 3 bay sheep shed. So they're all connected. So we have a nice little runway end between them to feed the cows or the sheep whenever they're all in together. But yeah, no, I cannot fault it. For lambing yearly, a shed is needed.
Right, and we go to your machinery now that you have. The Massey Ferguson?
Well, of course, they have the 390T.
Yes.
I suppose I can be honest, I would prefer if she was blue, but I am over talked every time I want to get a new tractor, so it's always in Massey and it'll stay Massey. So at the moment it is 390T. She does what she needs to do. She draws in the bales, she spreads the nitrogen, she tops the grass. They're a fine tractor. A sawed off tractor, I think at times. People have bought the 390 and asking the difference between the 390 and the 390T, I couldn't tell you. But apparently T is better. I do not know. But no, she does what she needs to do. She fits into the shed, and I will be honest, not any newer tractors won't fit in our shed.
And if I'm right, I've seen videos during the outsider season. Did your contractor have a Massey baler? Am I thinking wrong there now?
Yes, our contractor has a Massey combi baler or a Lely, I think it's Lely single baler, but it's always been a McHale wrapper.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
But he has a Massey Ferguson combi baler, and they can't fault it. It was just the best machine for them at the time.
Yeah. Mango Crafts, what's the crack with them?
We're busy. We're nice and busy. We're travelling around the country. I don't know kind of any of the countries I've seen this year. I only started this year, of course. But we've gone to Dublin, Wicklow, Wexford, Belfast, Mayo, Roscommon, Sligo, Cork, Waterford, Tipperary, Limerick. There is more that I can't think, but we basically travel the country nearly every Thursday. We're traveling somewhere. So,
what is your day now? You go in the morning. What is your day in Mango Crafts? Tell everyone now what is Mango Crafts if they've never heard of it.
So, as I said, Mango Crafts, we do bespoke furniture. So we do tables, indoor, outdoor, anything from 0.5 meter to 4 or 5 meters in size. So you want it, we can make it. We do chairs, we do benches, we do coffee tables, we do what else do we do? Jesus, we do so much. So then our daily basis is we have a schedule each month of what's going out each week, and then the whole thing is prepare your tables. Some of them might need resin, so then obviously they have to be cut, shaped, sanded, sealed is sand sealed, depending on the timber, and then you do the finished coat. So a table could, depending on the work, you go from 3 or 4 days to finish a table to it could be 2 or 3 weeks, depending on resin and so on and so forth. So the resin in Ireland is a slow drying process, but it's doable, and we do a lot of work with resin. But be sure to follow the Mango Crafts account on TikTok. You will see everything that we have done and do on that page.
So when Darren has free time, what does Darren like to do?
Darren likes to garden. I like to do a bit of lawn cutting and obviously timber work. I used to do a bit of cycling, but I don't do much anymore. Family life gets in the way and you can't do much, but sure. I suppose any chance you're always on the farm, nearly. There's never a day that you're not needed in the farm. So yeah, most of the time it's farming related, fixing a fence or helping a lame sheep or whatever, you're on a farm, there's always something to do.
So, you mentioned there the cycling. Yes, me and you, we've done a lot of cycling through the years. Do you think now in 2025 you might hop back on the bike again? Not as much as we did in the past, but do you think you'll go back to the running and stuff that we used to do there?
Cycling, probably not. Running, possibly. I really don't know. We'll get to 25 now first, and we'll see what happens.
As we record this, everyone, it is St. Stephen's Day, and myself and my brother are actually having a lovely can of Bulmers here at the same time. So, what has the future for Darren Harrington Official? So, Darren Harrington Official, like what I mean, with your TikTok, with your YouTube, what's the crack like?
Well, I suppose the YouTube it's small. There's no beating around the bush. I have a small YouTube. It's Darren Harrington. There's a few of them up there, but you'll see the one that has, I think it's 40 something subscribers. I don't do much with YouTube. I post videos now and again. Most of my work is obviously on TikTok because I have a bit of a following on TikTok. We won't beat around the bush. But yeah, that's really what's going to happen. I don't know. We'll see what's going to happen in 2025 and so on and so forth.
You recently got a Renault, right? A lot of people don't like Renault. But have you any little plans for that Renault van?
Keep it on the road. That's the best thing of doing with it. She's an ex-post van, but yeah,
Can you fault the van now in any way,
Not as much I can fault yours though.
But why would you fault mine,
Because it's a heap of scrap.
But it's not a heap of scrap, the thing about it, right? Your man in the DOE centre, right, in Castlebar, he said, Jesus, David, he goes, you're one hell of a promoter there for that Renault. There was 300-something thousand kilometres on it,
And there still is 300,000.
There's 341,000 kilometres on it.
Yeah. No, I can't fault it. She starts in the morning, she drives me to work. What more do you want out of the vehicle?
No, the reason I asked you that is because there's a lot of people that don't like Renault. Now, don't get me wrong, back in the day, Renault, they were bad, They were very bad, but not anymore, They're the most popular van that comes into Khmer, delivery-wise,
Yeah, I suppose a lot of post vans now are Renault. I know, there could be anything, really.
There are a lot of them are Renault Traffics.
But, you've two Traffics, then you obviously have Caddies and whatever. There could be Fords. I don't know, no. I never touch a Ford. Sorry, I need to rephrase that.
Go on.
I'll never buy a Ford van. I do drive a Ford family car, and I cannot fault it. It's a 12 Galaxy. I cannot fault it. We've had it now 2 years, and she never once given us an ounce of trouble. She is hitting over 200,000 miles, so she will need to be moved on in due course. But if we were going to change, it's probably going to be another Ford Galaxy.
Yeah, but you're saying there you wouldn't buy a Ford Transit. What is the reason for that? I have my reasons for Ford Transit, but what's your reason for Ford Transits?
Because they're nothing but a heap. What they were back in the day, like, you know,
Do you remember Donny Max Transit?
the 90s
blue one?
and
Yeah.
the early 2000s.
Yeah.
They were good vehicles.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, they've not been nothing but a heap of dung at this stage. Nothing but problems. From what I hear, I can't speak on them really. But like you have the whatever the company called is the Chinese brand, as I call it.
I'm hearing not great things about them either.
They're identical to the Transit and they're half the price.
They are half the price, but I heard, I don't know if this is true, but someone put a new gearbox at 20,000 kilometres. Like, you're paying out whatever, 20, 30 grand for a van and a gearbox going. I know in my van, my gearbox went at 125,000 kilometres, but that's a common problem with the Renault. You know what I mean? But 20,000 kilometres, to me, it doesn't sound right, like, you know what I mean? But, where can people get you, Darren, on this podcast? Like, so we'll say your Facebook. Do you want to put out your Snapchat, your Instagram?
I suppose my Facebook is Darren Harrington. Snapchat is whatever. Search Darren Harrington, probably find me. Instagram is Darren93 Scooby. Twitter is at LFC Darren. TikTok is obviously Darren Harrington Official. And YouTube is Darren Harrington. The only one that's official is TikTok. Because I have there's so many accounts that copy my videos, that take my videos. So there's only one official Darren Harrington account. And there's only one account that I have. And that is that one.
Well, as I've said to people, if they want to become David Harrington, Darren Harrington, they can, but they won't belong. Hand it back to us, like.
Well, there's only one of me, and that's the way it's going to stay.
Well, that's true, I suppose, yeah. Right, everyone. I know you're going to say, Jesus, David, very short, but there's not much more I can say to my bro, right, because I nearly know everything. But do you want to tell him, Darren, on another podcast you're going to be on very, very soon?
I suppose, if you don't know it, at this stage, you'll know it from now, I suppose. But as you all know, the fella beside me here was on James Conway's podcast.
By the way, what did you think of that podcast before we go any further?
I can't really say much because I knew nearly everything in it.
Yeah, but like we'll say...
You could have added more, but other than that...
Well, no, you see, I'm saving for another podcast, you see. You know what I mean? So I'm on David Cuddy's podcast in the new year, so we have to give him a bit of information too, like. You know.
But anyway,
go back to yours.
Not going off topic. So James Conway was live with David, and I came on for whatever fucking reason, and he said, do I want to be on this podcast? I'll be honest, I didn't believe him. I thought it was just a spur of the moment. But he rang me last week or the week before? Last week, I think. And he said I'll be on the end of January, early February, in his podcast room in the county of Sligo. So, myself and if you're also on TikTok, be sure to follow at LetterMe. Makes fine caps, coffee mugs. I can't think of what else he does. But he does a lot of stuff. Follow him on TikTok. He'll also be coming with me to the James Conway podcast. But you won't see him, you'll only see me.
Is there not going to be a Letter Me Darren Harrington official special, though?
No. I don't know. I think it's only me. As he would say himself, it's my podcast and it should only be me on it.
Yeah, but going back to when James rang you, isn't he one of the soundest men you could ever talk to?
Oh, Jesus, I suppose you can't really... You can complain about James if you want to complain about James.
Yeah.
But the man speaks the truth, and some people don't like the truth, and that's fine. If you can handle the truth, you can handle the truth. But he does talk a lot of sense. So I'm looking forward to meeting him. And, we'll see what comes out of the podcast. I might never be going on a podcast again, but sure, we'll see what happens.
Well, the reason for this podcast, everyone, was to give Darren a little taste of what it is like to be on a podcast. When you're with James, like, it's just, he sits on one side, you have Darren then controlling the camera, and you have him...
Not me.
No, but, like, I'm telling you, between the two of them put together, like, they're very knowledgeable. Like, they have told me stuff I should do with my van and my company as well, so that'll come out in 2025, if I ever put it to hand. But I suppose, Darren, I want to thank you for coming on the podcast. I know I've been asking you for the last couple of months to do it, and I suppose...
And I was saying no for the last couple of months, but it's Christmas, I suppose I better be nice for once.
Yeah, so lads, it is the final episode of 2024, and it has been Darren Harrington official and myself, David Harrington. So from me and
Darren Harrington official.
we want to wish you a very happy Christmas. We do hope you had a beautiful Christmas, and we want to wish you all the best for 2025. Make sure, if you're not following both of these accounts, Darren Harrington official and Hero College, get over there and follow, because in 2025, to all those people that deny us and don't like us, you can keep not liking us, because we ain't going anywhere. Isn't that right?
That's true. No, that's very true. No, fair.
Yeah. Right, this is simple as the facts. It is any load, any road. Follow Darren Harrington official on TikTok, and we will see you in 2025. We will have a new sponsor to the podcast, and we'll have another episode for you in January. Until then, have a good one. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.